techniques. Now, let me just bring in now, as we have some more questions, of course, and wait to learn exactly about the nature of the operation and why it was carried out. Phil Campion, a former SAS soldier, is in our central London studio. Evening to you, Mr. Campion.
Good evening.
I know information's pretty hard to come by, as Tim was trying to explain, but if it was just a helicopter attack followed up by other soldiers shooting, this doesn't sound much like a stealth operation.
No, and I think it would be very difficult to analyse it properly until all the facts are on the table. That said, something I believe must have triggered this off, whether it was the actions of the militants within that camp or, you know, some over-exuberance, but something definitely sparked it off. And of course, once it goes noisy, the stealth's over anyway, isn't it? Indeed
so. I mean, even so, this is a place that's miles and miles from anywhere, isn't it? It's slap bang in the middle of the desert. Would it have even been possible, we're talking hypotheticals here, to do anything with stealth in terms of moving in by nightfall? I mean, how do you get men and machines and things in there to even start to consider something more subtle than just helicopter gunships?
Without going into too much detail, it is with proper planning possible to arrive on target fairly well undercover. However, that said, again, we don't know what exactly triggered this off. And if this was some sort of emergency response to what was happening on the ground, then, you know, that is probably the only way you're ever going to get in there. Because once it's gone noisy, like I say, it's pointless creeping around anymore. You've got to get in there and sort it out.
It's extraordinary, the level of... it wasn't a classic hostage where there's no communications. We heard these random bits of communication, didn't we, with some of the hostages allowed to phone home. Again, Tim was suggesting they were probably phone calls made under duress. But nevertheless, it seemed like the hostage takers wanted some information about what was going on to get out to the wider world.
Again, it's been very sketchy. So they've sort of like tried to show what they wanted to be shown and that sort of thing. But you know, nobody seems to have had, or certainly we haven't found out or been told of, a full plan or exactly how things were conducted. So, you know, it's at this stage of the campaign, it's all speculation until the dust settles tomorrow and it can be picked over properly.
But as you say, without betraying any confidences or any particular techniques, is an oil facility under hot desert conditions one of the scenarios your present-day colleagues would train for?
You train for all sorts of scenarios, you know, and you have to take each individual one as and when it comes. But certainly, you know, the nature of where things are sometimes, you wouldn't rule out going somewhere like that. No, of course not.
OK, well, thank you very much indeed for being with us this evening, Mr. Campion.
Of course.
Now, one hostage is known to have survived. Stephen